Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing, love the way you look in the mirror, and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food. It's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. I focus today on the right things, the things that are actually important in your life, the things that you want to bring more of into your life. That's about the episode we did yesterday on the power of focus. The power of focus to bring into your life the things, events, people, outcomes that you want instead of things that you do not want. Today's episode, though, is on labels on foods and different things that you should pay attention to shop better, to shop healthier, to navigate the aisles of our modern supermarket with ease, always being sure, or at least knowing where to find the right information about the foods that you buy, especially the foods that you buy on a regular basis. Today, I'm shooting a video episode for Food School, Healthy Eating 101 course, and so that episode going to be on labels, and today you're going to get the information from those lessons, not all the information, but the most important one. So nutrition facts, labels, and ingredient list. Those are two things that you want to be aware of when it comes to food products, foods, and the labels on them. So the difference between nutrition facts label and the ingredient list label, although they usually at the same place, even though sometimes they're in kind of like different places on the package. So nutrition facts are things like your calories, your proteins, your fats, your carbohydrates, maybe some vitamins and minerals that some food products or food companies choose to put on, depending on the region of the world where you are. Food label is going to be different, so you're going to see different information than them, but usually you're going to find information about calories, about fats, about proteins, about carbohydrates. That when it comes to nutrition facts. Ingredient list is a different thing. It has nothing to do with the carbohydrates, proteins, calories, fats, etc. It has to do with actual things that were used to produce that product. So that difference you want to be able to understand. And you want to care mostly when it comes to health reasons about ingredients, not so much about fats, proteins, calories, because that at the end of the day doesn't make much of a difference if you know what you're doing with your eating habits. Like, for example, if you're someone who wants to watch their carbohydrates or certain fats or the amount of protein or the amount of fat, then of course nutrition facts are useful to you. But for the majority of people who are just trying to eat healthy, who are trying to eat healthy food, ingredient list is where all the gold, where the most useful information is, and you need to be able to understand what to avoid there mostly. So when it comes to ingredients, The most important things, two most important things, are avoiding added sugars of all sorts. And sugars these days come by so many names, guys. High fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, evaporated cane juice, and I'm not even talking about all the artificial, half artificial, naturally sourced sweeteners with all fancy names. In the show notes, I'm gonna link what I found to be the most comprehensive and extensive database of different sweeteners that you can find in the ingredient list, with pictures and some explanations. So check out the link in the show notes about sweeteners, but just be aware of the fact that it usually doesn't even say these days sugar on the label. It says something else, but it's still sugar, like maltodextrin, for example. Most of you don't know that this is sugar, as a lot of things ending in dextrin. Also, like a lot of maltitol, for example, sugar alcohol, raises your blood sugar, acts almost as it's sugar, but some people say it's not sugar, so that's okay to put it on the label. But anyway, just be aware that there are a lot of different added sugars that have a lot of different names. And just because it doesn't say sugar on the label, it doesn't mean that your product doesn't have it. It might have a different name. The other thing that you want to avoid as plague, vegetable oils. All sorts of corn oil, cottonseed oil, peanut oil, canola oil. All these oils you should not be consuming, guys. There has been a paper published just a few days ago by one of my friends. He's an MD doctor and professor, does a lot of research. So he published a paper on fats, like those vegetable oils that have a lot of omega-6 fatty acids, or oxidized fats, and how they promote heart disease and different diseases related to the health of your arteries, and they increase inflammation in your brain and so many other things. But vegetable oils, yeah, you want to avoid them as much as possible. And just be aware also of the fact that sugars and vegetable oils, they can be in salad dressings, they can be in preserved and cured meat products, they can be in soups, they can be in sauces when you eat out. You might eat steak, but then it has sauce full of sugar on it, and it's not even going to taste that sweet. So you just want to be aware of everything that you put in your mouth on a regular basis. Now, what you have once in a while, probably not going to make such a huge difference. But for me personally, I don't want to put poison doing my best eating healthy even once in a while. So sugars and vegetable oils, those are two things you want to avoid. And then the third thing is any sort of non-food ingredients, or what I like to call them industrial ingredients. Basically things that you just don't even understand, that have names that belong to some lab, some science lab, or some scientific experiment. So any ingredients that do not sound like it is food, you should be avoiding that also in your food products. Or if you think that it's an okay thing, then check that and just be 100% sure that it is something that you want to put in your body on a daily basis if you consume it quite regularly. And guys, especially look at the cereals or snacks or foods, all kinds of fun, quote unquote, foods for your kids. Kids these days have like the worst diet. They eat so much sugar and vegetable oils and all the industrial ingredients that I don't even know how they survive. Probably the use and all the health that we still have when we are super young. So added sugars, vegetable oils, and industrial ingredients. Most of your food should be whole foods that you cook or somebody else cooks for you. But again, make sure that you do not add yourself those added sugars, vegetable oils, and industrial ingredients that harm your health. When it comes to nutrition facts label and calories, fats, protein, carbohydrates, does it really matter for you, for your health? For most of you guys who are trying to just eat healthy, who are not on a specific diet, counting every carb or every fat or every calorie, yeah, you probably shouldn't care about that much. But if you're someone who does want to lose weight, who watch their carbohydrates or their fats or their proteins, when you look at nutrition facts labels, what you want to pay attention to and be aware of is that the information usually is not for the whole package, but either per unit of weight, like per 1 ounce or per 100 grams, or it is per serving that is different for different foods. And usually the serving is something that is used in the industry by other food producers. So make sure that you do the counting right, or it can just sabotage all your goals. So again, when it comes to calories, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, just make sure that you do the counting right. And also on many labels by many governments of different countries, you can see vitamins, minerals like calcium or vitamin D or other nutrients put on the label too. So food producers are told by the governments to put that on the label to guide your eating choices. Why? Because usually those nutrients that most people in that region lack, and those are the nutrients that when you're not getting enough of them on a regular basis, you might have some serious health problems. So you want to be aware of those nutrients and at least once in a while track them and make sure that you are not chronically deficient. Otherwise, you might have problems, and the problems might be caused not because you're eating something wrong, but because you're not eating enough of what's right and what's needed in your body. So use labels, use different apps. I'm gonna link a couple in the show notes to track your nutrients. And again, once in a while, that just checks that you're not deficient in the life essential nutrients. There's more and more information about food, about the origin of food, about the quality of food. Like, for example, when it comes to seafood, there is an organization called Seafood Watch that watches that the seafood is sustainably caught and doesn't have a lot of contaminants, and it has a lot of other information about seafood on their website. But there are different organizations that track the quality of the food, like whether the food is organic or not, where genetically modified organisms are there or not. So you can see a lot of different information on food labels, and it's different from food to food, from industry to industry. Also, it's different from region to region, and sometimes it is. Sometimes there are some rules by the government that regulate that. Sometimes there are none, and producers can basically put whatever the hell they want. But because more and more consumers care about the quality of their food, how sustainable their food is, and where it comes from, there are more and more labels of this sort. So if you care about that, and I think you should care at least on some level about the quality of your foods, where it comes from and how it was raised, then you should look up the labels that are on the food that you constantly eat, like at least, your animal products, your seafood, the vegetables that you buy regularly, where it comes from, what's used to raise it or to grow it. So educate yourself again. There are many labels, and you gotta educate yourself about the ones that are on the foods that you buy regularly. And in general, you should be aware of where your food comes from and what is used to grow or raise it, because most of it will end up in your body and can either improve your health or make it worse. And that's about it for food labels, for nutrition facts labels, for ingredient list. A couple of other things. Never assume anything, guys. What I mean by that, when you see a label, let's say, or on an animal product, right? You might think, "Oh, I'm on a low carb diet and I'm eating salami, and it's an animal product, so it doesn't have any sugar in it, right? Or carbs." Wrong. Uh, Many processed meats have sugar and have quite a lot of it, and they would put the amount of carbohydrates per like a really tiny piece, and then you eat like a lot of it and you would get a lot of sugar, and you think, I'm not eating carbohydrates, but I'm still not feeling that great, and my blood sugar is up and spikes often. So what am I doing wrong? So that's the thing you can be doing wrong. Also make sure that all the salad dressing you check, all the soups you check, all the food that you eat somewhere else. Make sure that you know what goes into that, especially if you do that regularly. Again, never assume anything just because it says all natural or all organic or anything on the label. Check the nutrition fact labels, check the ingredient list especially, and then do the math, do the conclusions, whether you should eat that food on a regular basis or should leave it at the store. And a very important point also on the supplements. I use supplements quite regularly, different ones. I usually cycle them. I recommend my clients to use some for different purposes. And a lot of people reach out to me on different social media asking me whether they should use or try a certain supplement and how it's best to do that. And a lot of times they would send me nutrition information about that supplement, like how many carbohydrates, proteins, and fats this product has, but they will not send me the whole ingredient list. And then when you look at the ingredient list, there is like so much shit in it, and then you are not curious anymore why this product is cheaper because you see all the ingredients and how much junk is added to that. Then the price then makes sense to you. But the point is, when you buy supplements, make sure that you check all the ingredients. And supplement industry is much less regulated than food industry. There is so much junk in food industry, and just imagine what is going on in supplement industry. So just make sure you read all the ingredients, you read everything that is on that label, and do not buy anything that has a lot of junk ingredients or ingredients that you have like no idea what they do and why they are there, and the industry will not tell you exactly what they do and what are the possible effects. Nobody really knows all the possible effects. That's the point. When you buy something with a lot of ingredients, even though those ingredients do not seem to cause any adverse health effects right now, like you just never know what's going to happen if you consume that for a year, or what's going to happen to you in 5 to 10 years if you consume it even for a little bit. You just never know. Everything that goes into your body has to go somewhere, and it doesn't usually go into waste and goes out of your body. No, your body actually usually does something with it, incorporates into your cells or your hormonal system or somewhere else, and your biochemistry changes, and it's like a cascade reaction, and you just never know again. So please be careful. Use as little as possible weird and unknown ingredients, and go for food ingredients all the time. And even in foods, as we know, not everything is good for you. So this short episode is on labels, on ingredients. Ingredients list, guys, is where the gold or where the most important stuff is. So always check it. Never assume anything. Always ask about the ingredients and the quality of foods that you consume, no matter where you are. Always do some research, especially about the foods and supplements that you consume more or less regularly. That's it for today, guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow. You're going to get more useful information that you should apply. And if you apply, I promise you, you're going to get results when it comes to your health, energy levels, and most importantly, in life. You're going to get a better life if you start taking better care of your health through better eating. So thank you again for listening. Let me know what information was super useful to you, and especially I love to hear those stories when you change something and you feel better. That is super amazing. So share those with me in any way that is good for you. And till next time, as usual, eat better daily.